that's how the lights come on. A lot of people don't. They think maybe it's just magic, something, right? They don't know how, and then they'll call people and they'll charge them $1 million, which all you have to do is shake the thing a little bit. And anyway, the point is this. Could you hit the heat just for a second? Is it getting a little warm? Not too warm. Not for, okay, you probably by the door. All right. Well, just for a minute, then you can go turn it back on. But I don't have a whole lot to say. I'm just asking that it's a miracle what a few people can do. But we're in that period where every group of people in Scripture get to this type of a period where it's the end of their cycle, whatever it is. Noah, the flood, all of that stuff. This is one of those periods. This is that period where it's the end of our cycle. It ain't Noah the flood because we could build big ships, and if it was a flood, so we could float up on the. But now you can't do that because the water is going to be too nasty. You know what I mean? And the flood of the era is a flood of the things that caused those people harm at that time, which is beyond their ability to deal with. That's what's coming now. And I just believe we could take it a little more serious. And that when you do that, sometimes you never forget your friends and your family, but when you start focusing on real life stuff, that's different than just maybe listening to something and it sounds very nice. That's not, that time is kind of getting over fast. It's been over. So that's what I was just saying, that we got a good shot at all of this, all of it. The plans we got for California, it makes no difference what happens out there. We planned it for years. And we can't lose out there. We can't lose. We'll sue them for $300 million. If we don't get it, it'll be all on the TV and everywhere. Doesn't make a difference. You know what I mean? In other words, we can't lose. And then they have did their stuff, and inshallah, this is our time to do ours, and we're doing it correctly, without hatred, envy, or anything like that. Yeah, and it takes years to polish that up. It takes a long time, and nobody. It's something to hear somebody in the Bible, Lord, forgive them, they know not what they do. But to see it in real life and to get to where, well, I'll close with this. But the reason I wasn't going back to Oakland or wasn't staying around there because I didn't feel like explaining to people what's happening. Because, see, whatever happened, we're evolving, and they're not. And pretty soon you get beyond that. It's almost like there's no sense talking because they don't understand what you're saying. They don't understand because you have to have a certain amount of training. When you're down at the elementary level, you can communicate. But once you start implementing these things like Tazkiyah and all of that, you begin to evolve, and you have to try to find a way to explain or to communicate. You have to find a way to communicate, because what you're talking about don't make sense to them. And them is 97, 8% of the people, right? Them is damn near everybody. So to, yeah. But even the solution is evolutionary. Even that, well, tell them what Jesus said. Okay, woman, go and sin no more. Go and sin no more. That don't mean nothing. What does that mean? Right? Or if you tell them self-purification, that's what they're going to do. One more question after another. That's why, a lot, the Yahoo, what kind of cow is that? Or what you going to do about that? Well, go sacrifice a cow. What kind of cow? A big cow? A little cow? What color is it? What is it? What's the characteristics? So it's on and on and on. Okay, we have the solution, but the solution is evolution. We didn't get any good overnight. So there has to be a process. You got to scrub that goo out of your brain before it can even, your brain start breathing. Or if your body's got so much dirt on it and oil and goo, then you clean it off and the skin breathes. It's like breathing. Okay, so the thing about it is, if you can do the things that they can understand, then that's the first step. That's why we always talk about $300 million worth of wealth. When we get that wealth, they say, oh man, the guy must have knew what he was doing. Okay, but the way Boss Man is acting, he wants us to go out there because there are certain things that he's done that shows that he knew some of what he was doing. And what we've been telling them is we're not going to do it your way because your way is not good. We say it here all the time. But you're going to have to do this our way. So all of the raising money ourselves and stuff like that, that's what we're going to do so that we won't be dependent on that. And nobody will be able to say, you started this because you already had big money, right? For instance, if we get $300 million, suppose we just go all the way in the dirt and we just have $50 million. To the average Negro, it might as well be $1 trillion, right? When you get up into that kind of money. They have to see us doing what we're doing right now visually so we can explain it to them. This is what you do. You demand, if what we're doing is right, we're going to demand that they have to do what's right. We're not sharptons, we're not all them other niggas. We're not taking nothing. It's not that it's a super ethics and morals, it's like we're beyond that. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that, that's all. Because it's not the right thing to do, right? Boss man almost got a checkbook laid out, just come on, do this, and they try to run you back to California. They're trying to get you back to California. I can feel it. I know it. I've been knowing it. I'm not doing that. I'm going to do this way. Because it's better we do it our way and they have to conform to our standard. If we conform to their standard, we're dead. we're dead. There's no, it ain't going nowhere. So we have to let them know we are not biting at anything. You're going to cooperate with us on our standard. And we've been telling them that all the time. And that's what we're going to do. We're not the ones in trouble. They are. I mean, they hear it all the time, but they're in trouble. And if we know something is not going to work, there's no sense wasting all of what you put into this. If we wanted anything they had, we could have changed 50 years ago. All the stuff that Sharpton them get then, that's what they had, nigga. You know, you could have all of that. In fact, half of the stuff was coming our way. They was down in South America helping put the package together. They was there helping. It was just clear. I knew that when I was there. I told one of our partners, and I'll close, a couple of years ago. I said, you remember when we was in Mexico City? We had brought some cocaine from South. So you remember we was in Mexico City? And we was walking, we was out that night just getting around, getting a little air and stuff. And then a couple of women got behind us, and then we made some turns this way, that way, that way. One was white and one was black, because he knew very well who they was, because he was involved. I didn't have to know it then, but I knew it pretty much. So I say, you remember that within a half an hour, we had that lady up in our hotel, and we was strapping her up with cocaine to take across the border. I said, do you think I would have done that in 1/2 an hour? If I didn't know she was the police and she was there, they was following us and he looked real like, what else a nigga know? Well, I know the whole show. You know, I understand the whole show. Anyway. No, it's just clear. That was 50 years ago, easy. It was over 50. It was about 50 years ago. You know, okay. This is the same guy that said, I'm on the big end now. You know, and my sons were just a joke, a family joke, you know. I'd call them and say, well, da-da-da-da-da. They said, Dad, I'm on the big end now. That means I don't have to do it. I'm on it. Because the guy, we're sending them to blow and stuff, and he's up here where you collect all the money. So he thought he was on the big end till he cut him off, and then he goes broke. Pop! Not that day, but very soon. Because all them friends and all them cars and everything you buying, the people gonna leave after that stuff. If you can't keep it up and you ain't got all that blow to share with them, they gonna leave. The human being is gonna leave. So anyway, the point is on this stuff, I wanted to listen to the Sharpton stuff because it's similar to our situation. Everybody say the same thing about us as they say about anybody trying to do right. And anybody that's not taking if I wanted to get money from the Zionists, I could get money from the Zionists. They would be super happy. In fact, they lined up right now. All I had to do is start whistling. How much would you like? You know, because they got all the money anyway. So if they give you $1 zillion, it ain't going to hurt them none, because you're going to go buy something with it, and they're going to get that back anyway, no matter how much they give you. That's the way they got it hooked up. The last thing is, it feels sometime, I guess if somebody got into this kind of newish like, it'd probably be a little uncomfortable at first. It might be downright scary. It would be. It'd be kind of scary, unless you're trained for it. But after you do it and survive, you won't be able to stand nothing else. You almost, you know, it's like war. Some people go to war and they get addicted to all that stuff. This psychological challenge with boss man, it gets to be addictive. You almost, that's what you do. You don't, you wouldn't want to be retired somewhere with a lot of money. What would you do? That ain't no fun. It's other people's fun. And they get that. They work at the post office. They get their Cadillac with their Vogue tires, and then they die. The government counts up all of that. Let's see. Wouldn't you like to do that extra? You know, you go stay with us a few more years, and then you're going to retire. I don't know. Somebody was telling me at 87%.